Hey folks, this is Ben Yessel. How's it going? Um, so this video is gonna be kind of more politically oriented. Not many of my videos are, but I think in this case, I do need to talk about certain things a little bit more in depth. Um, but just to let you know what this is all entailing, um, it has to do with a correct understanding or a how can I put this? I'm just trying to take away a lot of the confusion that some of you guys might have about President Donald Trump and his character. And with one president in particular, I'm going to be comparing him to, who's Ronald Reagan. So that's what I'm talking about in this video. Just this one, I'm going to try to make some more videos this week. So there's this impeachment going on right now. And why is this happening? Apparently, somehow the Ukrainian government interfered with the presidential elections. It's true, like many elections we've had, well, vast majority for quite some time, at least vast majority of my life, it's always seemed like the people that seem to be the final two candidates are the worst. It's always been that way, at least since I was 12. There was a time when you had Jimmy Carter running against Ronald Reagan. That was when I was a little tyke. And both those men are good men. Jimmy Carter is a Baptist from Georgia and a very good Christian, in my opinion. Reagan, as far as I know, I'm not sure what his exact religion is, but I think it's Christian of some sort. He's definitely very pro-Christian, obviously. So it would have been a joy to hear them debate about stuff. Why? Because you could respect both men and you could say, oh, I just want to think now about what are their little policies going to be like. You don't have to worry about their character. Ever since then, it's just like every single election, we've had terrible people that become presidents. And if you don't think that either Bushes were bad or whoever was bad, okay. I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. I always pay attention to my feelings about other people in real life and in media. Because if I don't, I can't make heads or tails of what's going on with other people. That's what we all do on some level, and we should all keep doing. Because our gut feelings tell us things about people. When a dog meets a complete stranger, how does a dog know? I'll just know if a person is a nice person or a good person or not. How do they know? Why do they start growling with some types of people but more? Now, some dogs are mistreated, but some just know what's going on. People that have bad intent. But how do they know that? It's because they're instinctive. They pay attention to their gut feelings, even though they can't see as much as we can as humans. They don't know good from evil and all that stuff, but they pay attention to their gut feelings. When we listen to anybody speak, Reagan, Trump, Hillary Clinton, Mike Pence, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, whoever. It's always, we should always just always have this ongoing thought process. Always have this awareness of our own feelings about how we feel about them. And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, before we get to the Trump versus Reagan train of thought that I have, did you know, whenever I listen to Bernie Sanders, whenever I listen to Bernie Sanders no matter how much I agree with him politically. And he has some good points. I'll give him that. I'm not a socialist, but he has some good points. Personally, I like Bernie. I've always liked Bernie. I always am okay to listen to him. I never get upset listening to Bernie. I feel bad that he's getting so old now. Bernie actually is a good man. I'm gonna say this again. Bernie Sanders is a good man. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with his politics. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, but he is a man of integrity. How do I know that? I don't know the man. Because of the way I feel when he talks. And that's the way it is with everything that we experience in life. Whenever we talk to anybody, it's always, there is always a feeling that we get. It's either better or worse. Or it's somewhere in the middle. We want to believe the best in people, I think, a lot of times. Or maybe the opposite for some people. But whatever it is, we always are paying attention to our feelings. Always. And if we've had bad experiences with people, or we just, maybe we believe erroneous things about people, that can happen too. Sure. So how did I feel? Just for comparison's sake, before we get to the big two I'm talking about, whenever Hillary Clinton talked, I didn't believe a word she said. Not a word. It's just as fake as heck. Bill Clinton? Not much better. I would like to believe the best about Bill, but no. Nah, he just knew, he was just really good at the social graces. Okay. George Bush Sr., he knew how to talk to conservatives. He said the right things. No, he was not like Reagan at all. Not one bit. George W. Bush, his Texas accent was... Did you ever feel like he was just, just like Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton had his Arkansas accent. Did you ever feel like those guys just put on a show, had a persona for the camera? And did you ever hear Clinton without his accent off the camera? You probably, yes, I am hinting at things like Illuminati related. And yes, I'm hinting at things like they're just puppets and then they just put on a show. Yeah, I believe that. Do I believe that about Reagan? Well, I believe that Reagan was himself. But I also believe that he was coerced to do certain things by the Illuminati. And if he didn't, he would have been either executed, which he almost was, or, outed of power somehow. So he had to. But, yeah. So, you guys can ask me about anybody else. You could probably guess what I'd say about Obama, which, no, I don't believe anything Obama would say either. Besides, you can talk about racial things too with Obama, and it's no more pleasant, of course. That, again, Obama knew how the social graces. He knew how to be very dignified sounding and all that good stuff. I know lots of people had high hopes for him, and I don't know. But so let's talk about Trump versus Reagan here for the rest of the video. Okay. So it's true, I was a boy when Ronald Reagan was the president, which affects maybe how I saw him. It's true. You can listen to Ronald Reagan give talks on YouTube. I just did. I just also heard President Trump talk at a big rally in New Jersey. So let me just talk about how I felt between those two talks. One of the talks, Reagan. I'll start with Reagan. Reagan was talking about all kinds of stuff, but especially he was talking about things of a moral nature and Ten Commandments, and he was very pro Ten Commandments, very pro families. He wanted government to get out of messing with people. He wanted people to be righteous, good people, upstanding people, not involved with things they shouldn't be involved with. That's what Reagan was after. That's what he wanted. That's right and good. And increasingly in these times, you're going to hear more and more people that are going to say something other than that. Folks, if you have anybody, I don't care who they are, anyone who says anything that goes against the Ten Commandments, know that that person is not righteous. I'm going to say that again. If somebody belittles, attacks, makes light of the Ten Commandments, that person is not righteous. And I'm also including George Carlin in this. As much as I get a kick out of George Carlin's humor, and he says lots of great things, when he goes after the Ten Commandments, it's hard to like him as much. I'll honestly believe that. Now, I know why he has, and I understand the humor. There's some clips of him, doing that. And so maybe Carlin isn't as bad as some folks. But it's not a credit to his character for him to talk about those things that way. Anyway, we won't get that's a different subject, but Reagan was a godly man. Even if he had to deal with the Illuminati, even if he had to cave into what they wanted him to do, otherwise they're going to kill him, according to my understanding of how things really work in that regard. So, Trump. Yes, I know it's a big deal right now. Apparently, we have a really awesomely low unemployment. It's the best apparently we've ever had. Or I don't know. It's really, really good. Really good employment right now. And I want that to continue as long as possible, of course. That's a credit to Trump, I suppose. There's a lot of things he's done actually that are really effective and really good. So I'm actually of the opinion that he's actually a decent president. But we're not talking about how effective of a president he is necessarily. Somewhat. So sure, but we're talking more about what kind of person he is. Is he the sort of person that you can trust? Is he trustworthy? Is Donald J. Trump trustworthy? As Reagan was. Keep in mind that a whole Iran-Contra affair with Reagan was something that he was not aware of himself. If you want to consider Reagan to be even remotely untrustworthy. Now, he honestly didn't know what was really going on when he first talked to the press. Yeah, he went over that very thing I just heard him talk about that stuff. And I heard his daughter talk about this stuff. And I heard Reagan's daughter talk about how he would feel about Trump if he was alive. What's happening. So there's a lot of things that are going very well, very right. We know that Donald Trump is he can be a very intimidating person. I guess you could say. When Back to the Future was being made, the script was being made, do you know who they based Biff Tannen's character on? Donald Trump. That should tell you guys something. So people are really thrilled by him. They're really resurgence of conservatism and all that stuff. Well, what kind of conservatism are we talking about? Are we talking about the kind of conservative leader that inspires the best behavior in Americans and inspires everyone else throughout the world to love America and want to live in America? Because that's what Reagan did. That's who Reagan was. Reagan was a Democrat before he was Republican. He was both parties. He was actually fairly moderate in a lot of respects, in some respects, but he was a big believer in traditional Christian morality. Yeah. It was... there was a shift in politics, in a way, in the 60s, 1960s, in the United States. There definitely was. And that's about when Reagan made his shift. I don't fully understand it myself because I wasn't alive then. But taking U.S. history and that sort of thing, yeah, I mean, I could probably get, that's probably a subject for another time. I listened to Trump's speech, his rally speech thing. Man, I mean, sure, I still want to be part of that group that loves Trump. I really do. Does Trump have the same love for people in general that Reagan had? No, he does not. Trump does not love people like Reagan loved people. And if that doesn't tell you enough, then let's keep going. Donald Trump on Twitter, just reading his tweets and the tone of them and everything, makes the angriest, most reactive comments I've ever made on my videos or anywhere else in my entire life seem extremely mature. Trump is not a mature man. No matter how composed he might seem, no. He's not a man that has... He's not a godly man. He does not have self-mastery. He's also a glutton, by the way. He eats inordinate amounts of chicken and meat. He's tall. He's not muscular. If he was the size of Hulk Hogan in his prime, maybe I could understand consuming so many calories. That's a different subject, I suppose, again. What I'm trying to say is he's no Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge was another president, even if some consider him less effective than Reagan or Theodore Roosevelt or whoever you want to consider more effective. Maybe Coolidge was seen as not as whatever. But Coolidge was extremely disciplined and is an extremely good man. Trump? No. I'm not saying Trump is evil. I'm just saying Trump is not godly in the case of really seeing what... Look. If you have... if you can really control your temper very well and your thoughts in regard to them being virtuous, unceasingly is what we talk about in my church, by the way. And both Reagan and Coolidge are the sorts of men that I would consider to be better men. Coolidge is like one of the best, Coolidge, he was such a good man that, just looking at his life, it's inspirational. He was extremely strict with his own habits and things, personal habits. Trump? No. We don't have to talk about his morality. We don't have to talk about sexual morality. A lot of people don't believe that matters at all. It does matter. You cannot admire a person truly who is a womanizer. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip of the iceberg. Folks, in the United States, we have a real issue these days with conservatives. Just within Republicans and conservatives. Just those folks, not even talking about people that lean to the left, or not even Democrats. Just people that are conservatives who maybe have forgotten a little bit of what Reagan was really like. All you have to do is watch a speech by Reagan and pay attention to your feelings. And then watch a speech by Trump. Pay attention to your feelings. I'm not saying that one is like God and the other one's like Satan. I'm just saying that there is a big difference and it does matter. Why does it matter? Why does all this matter? Well, many of us believe in God. Many of us believe that God can influence things for the better. But he won't always do that. It's just that, how can I put this? When you have a righteous president, it's a blessing to a nation. When you have a wicked president, it isn't. The president is a leader of a nation. So what a president wants to do will have a big impact on the nation, more or less. Or the other leaders. He sets the tone. Of course, I also believe that, well, there are people that are more powerful than the presidents. It's true. And that those guys really run things. But to the extent that the president has any power, or I should say any influence amongst people of this country, that influence can either be righteous or wicked, or somewhere in the middle. Reagan always had qualities about himself, personally, where you did feel, you definitely did feel like he valued you and loved you and wanted you to be happy. You did feel in fact, Reagan was on the same page as Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. You did feel the same love from these men toward you. And you felt, to one extent or another, often you felt a great deal of the love of God to you. Or something along those lines. It was definitely, unmistakably godly. It was a godly kind of joy you felt. You'd feel around listening to those men talk. And many other men like them. Trump? No, it's different. So many people seem to forget what kind of a man Trump was before he was a president. Trump was not the sort of man that would make you feel better about life. No. Now, he could talk a lot about, oh, this is the best steak. Oh, trust me, you love this steak. And Trump could make you feel at home, and he could, all these things. I'm not saying he's evil, but he's not a godly man. So, all this being said, talking about these impeachment trials and then in the 2020 election and all this stuff. Folks, look, a skunk, you can try painting a skunk black. The part of his tail, it's white. You can try pretending that he's not going to have a stink gland or whatever. You can try making a skunk into a cat. But at the end of the day, the skunk is still a skunk. Now, a person can improve their character. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort. Trump is not the sort of person at all, not even remotely this way. He's not the sort of person to admit to these more grievous sins and things that are in his life. He's not the sort of person at all, that would ever repent of those things. And if he does, I'm mistaken. I do apologize. But no, Trump is not that kind of person. He goes to church for show. What did he do in Scotland? He made a huge golf course. I just remember whatever he did, he made the Scots really, really angry. Why? Why would anybody do that? Buy a bunch of land? But that's like small potatoes, because, it's just all a big show, folks. If you do believe, whether or not you believe in the Illuminati or whatever, it's either this. There's 3 branches of government. There are many reasons why economies do better or worse. I'm sure Trump had some hand in the economy doing better, as well as making great trade deals with China. Sure. What is this I hear about him separating still kids from their parents? I've heard good things about the border. I'm like many of you guys, I kind of just hear things. But what I hear is oftentimes, again, this... make him, put Americans first, make America great again. You know what's also the next thing that comes to mind after some patriotic feelings? Yeah, you guessed it. Yeah, there's still people that are going to be racist. White supremacy. Yeah. Or xenophobia. All these sorts of trains of thought are the very next things that a lot of people will think about right after claiming to be patriotic. All of this is encouraged by Trump, and Trump, oh, he's not racist, right? I believe. Oh no. Whether he's racist or not, whatever you want to say about him, he's not Reagan. The more that a person has true character and never obviously Clinton is one of the Bill Clinton was one of the people that is most known for equivocating and playing with words in a way that makes him not seem guilty. Right? That's what I remember most about his presidency. He's always equivocating. Reagan didn't do that at all. Trump, he's blaming it on other people. It's almost impossible for someone like Trump to admit to anything that he just messed up on, or any of his faults or sins or whatever. He can't do it. And this is a person that so many people just seem to be going crazy about. Like, yeah. That's why I'm saying there's something seriously wrong here with conservatives. It's not with conservatives in regard to what they believe. It's with regard to this Trump mania. I want to believe it too, folks. I do. It seems so amazing. But there's something wrong that's still at work here. You cannot have a good president unless that president is a moral person. It's impossible to have any greatness in someone without character. You have to have good character before you can call someone great. Genghis Khan. Say anything you want to say about him, and there are a lot of bad things about him, but there are a lot of things that were admirable. Was he the scourge of God? I don't know. Sometimes the Lord uses men that are tyrannical to end other things that aren't so good going on for his own purposes. I'd have to study his life again. Just know that the whole Mongol culture at the time, if you were especially in charge of a group of people, it wasn't especially godly, right? Not by any stretch of the imagination. But most world leaders have not been good men. Most are not. Which is why it's so rare to have people like George Washington and Ronald Reagan as presidents. Abraham Lincoln. Which presidents have the kind of character like that Washington and Lincoln and Calvin Coolidge had? Who is truly in that arena that's have been presidents? Not many. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say in summary is this. Donald Trump is not another Ronald Reagan. He's not. Now, he might be pretty effective. He might have a lot of things going for him, whatever. The powers that be, I think, would like to see people kind of get caught up in what he's all about. And what he's all about is not what we should... it's just not... No, it has nothing to do with traditional Christianity. It has nothing in common with that. Trump is a populist. Anyway, leave your thoughts and comments below, folks. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.